What you are about to hear is not only a story of faith, but a story that changed the destiny of millions of people. A mystery preserved for almost 5 centuries. An event that took place during one of the darkest and most uncertain moments in the history of the Americas. And at the center of it all, a humble man, a desperate people, and an image that still defies explanation. This is the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe, a land in pain. The year was 1531. Only 10 years had passed since Spanish forces conquered the powerful Aztec Empire. The world that once existed in central Mexico had collapsed almost overnight. Temples were destroyed, cities were rebuilt, traditions were forbidden, and entire populations were devastated by disease and war. Families were divided. Ancient beliefs clashed with a new religion brought from across the ocean. The indigenous people felt lost between two worlds. Many saw Christianity not as hope, but as the religion of conquerors. Fear and resentment filled the land. Hope seemed very far away. But in the middle of this tension, something extraordinary happened. Not far from what is now Mexico City lived a humble indigenous man named Juan Diego. His native name was Cuauhtlatoatzin, meaning the talking eagle. He was around 57 years old, a widower, and had recently converted to Christianity. He lived simply with his elderly uncle, Juan Bernardino. Juan Diego owned almost nothing, no wealth, no power, no importance in society. And yet, every Saturday and Sunday before sunrise, he walked many miles to attend Mass and receive religious instruction. His faith was sincere, quiet, unnoticed by the world. And perhaps that is exactly why he was chosen. It was early morning on December 9th, 1531. Cold air covered the valley as Juan Diego walked his usual path toward church. The sky was just beginning to glow with the first light of dawn. As he passed near a hill called Tepeyac, he suddenly heard something strange. Music. Soft, beautiful music. Not like drums or flutes, but something heavenly. Birdsong more perfect than anything he had ever heard. He stopped. The sound seemed to come from the top of the hill. Then a gentle woman's voice called out, "Juanito, Juan Dieguito," a loving voice calling him by name. Confused but drawn forward, he climbed the hill. And there he saw her. Standing before him was a woman surrounded by radiant light. Her clothing shimmered like the sun. The ground beneath her seemed to glow. Everything around her felt peaceful. Juan Diego later said her beauty was beyond words. Yet she did not appear distant or frightening. She appeared close, tender, like a mother. She spoke to him in his own native language and said, "My dear son, know and understand that I am the ever-Virgin Mary, Mother of the true God, through whom all things live." She then made a request. She wished for a temple to be built on that hill, a place where she could show love, compassion, and protection to all people suffering in that land. And she asked Juan Diego to deliver her message to the bishop. Juan Diego obeyed. He traveled to see the Bishop of Mexico, Fray Juan de Zumárraga, a respected but cautious man. After waiting hours to be received, Juan Diego explained everything, the apparition, the message, the request. But the bishop listened politely and dismissed him. Stories like this were not uncommon in those days. And a poor indigenous man claiming to see a heavenly vision seemed unlikely. Disappointed, Juan Diego returned to the hill and told the lady what happened. She listened with patience. Then she asked him to try again. The next day, Juan Diego returned to the bishop. This time, he insisted. He repeated the lady's request. The bishop questioned him carefully and finally said, "If this is truly from heaven, bring me a sign. Then I will believe." Juan Diego returned once more to Tepeyac. The lady promised to provide proof the next day. But life took an unexpected turn. That night, Juan Diego discovered his uncle, Juan Bernardino, was gravely ill. The old man's condition worsened rapidly. Fearing his uncle would die, Juan Diego spent the entire next day searching for a priest instead of returning to the hill. He stayed at his uncle's side. By early morning on December 12th, the situation was desperate. Juan Diego set out before sunrise to find a priest to give his uncle last rites. Ashamed for missing his meeting with the lady, he tried to avoid passing directly by the hill. He chose another path, but he could not avoid her. As Juan Diego walked, the lady appeared again, descending gently from the hill. Embarrassed, Juan Diego explained his uncle was dying and asked to delay their meeting. The lady answered with words that would echo through history. "Am I not here, I who am your mother? Are you not under my protection? Do not be afraid." She assured him his uncle was already healed. And then she gave him the promised sign. She instructed him to climb the hill and gather flowers. This made no sense. It was December. The hill was rocky and cold. Nothing grew there in winter, but Juan Diego obeyed. And when he reached the summit, he gasped. Before him grew fresh, beautiful Castilian roses, flowers native to Spain, flowers unknown in that place. Covered in dew, alive in the middle of winter, he carefully gathered them. The lady arranged the roses in his tilma, his simple cloak made from cactus fiber, and she told him, "Take these to the bishop. Let this be the sign." Juan Diego hurried to the bishop's residence. After waiting again, he was finally allowed inside. The bishop and several witnesses gathered. Juan Diego explained everything once more. Then he opened his tilma to reveal the flowers. The roses spilled onto the floor, and in that instant, a miracle occurred. On the inside of the tilma appeared the full image of the lady, perfect, colorful, alive, as if painted by invisible hands. The room fell silent. The bishop dropped to his knees. Tears filled his eyes. The sign had been given. The tilma was placed in a church, and people came from everywhere to see it. And something astonishing happened. Conversions exploded across the region. Millions of indigenous people embraced Christianity because in the image, they saw someone who looked like them, a mother who spoke their language, a symbol of compassion, not conquest. Over centuries, scientists studied the tilma, and the mysteries only grew. The cloak is made from cactus fibers that normally disintegrate within 20 or 30 years. Yet, nearly 500 years later, it remains intact. No brushstrokes are visible. The colors appear suspended above the fabric. Infrared analysis found no traditional painting methods. Even more astonishing, microscopic reflections appear in the Virgin's eyes, reflections matching human figures believed to be present when the miracle occurred, as if the eyes captured a moment in time. Meanwhile, Juan Diego rushed home. He found his uncle completely healed. Juan Bernardino confirmed that the same lady had appeared to him, restoring his health. And she had given her name, Santa Maria de Guadalupe. Soon, a church was built at Tepeyac. Pilgrims arrived by the thousands, then millions. And today, the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe is one of the most visited religious sites on earth. People come with gratitude, with tears, with prayers, seeking hope, healing, comfort. Believers say the greatest miracle was not the image, not the roses, not even the conversions, but the message. In a time of violence and division, a mother appeared, not to the powerful, but to the humble, and reminded a suffering people that they were not abandoned. And perhaps that message still speaks today to anyone who feels lost, forgotten, or alone. Nearly 5 centuries have passed. Empires have risen and fallen. Technology has transformed the world. And yet, the image remains, silent, watching, inviting every generation to ask the same question. Was this coincidence, art, or something greater, and why? Does this story continue to touch hearts even now? If this story moved you, share it with someone who may need hope today. And stay with us for more stories where history, mystery, and faith meet